Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby. If you're here, it is because I told you that this next video is going to be centered on my mini cut that I am currently in the process in. It's been 1 week. I have 3 more weeks to go before I head to the Arnold, which I'm so excited about. On my Instagram, which I will throw up here, I put up a little questionnaire box for you guys to ask any questions you had concerning my mini cut when it comes to like what my diet looks like, what my activity looks like, what the real difference is between like bulking and cutting, like what is all this nonsense that you've been talking about. So I'm here to answer those questions. I have them all saved on my phone, so we're gonna do one of those typical read, respond, hopefully keep this video kind of short so you guys aren't just sitting here listening to me ramble again. And I'll probably do a physique update at the end because I am 1 week into this mini cut and I do feel like I'm leaner. I haven't stepped on a scale since the end of my bulk, which at the end of my bulk I hit 146 pounds. I gained like 6.5-ish pounds in like a 2-3 month bulk. So I'll get on the scale and do a physique update at the very end so you guys can kind of see at least what 1 week has looked like. And yeah, so let's dive into some questions. How's your hunger been since eating less? A lot of y'all have asked me that. It hasn't been too bad. I think I didn't do a really drastic drop in calories. I was eating around 3,000 calories at the end of my bulk and I just dropped down to 2,800. So 200 calories isn't too much of a difference. So I did have to learn again how to space out my meals a little bit more when I'm cutting versus when I'm bulking, because when I'm bulking I can eat a lot more frequently because that's the point, but cutting, like I have to space it out throughout the day or I will get hungry. But I think my body's kind of adjusting really well because I didn't just drastically cut out a ton of calories. So my hunger is not too bad. This one says still able to gain lean muscle or ... I guess I could be gaining muscle just in a sense of if my protein is high enough to help me build the muscle and based on my training regimen, I could gain some, but not as much as I was gaining when I was bulking. It's more of just, I'm not losing muscle, but I'm not making them any bigger. It's more of just to kind of lose a little bit of fat here and there and just to tighten up a bit. Right now my goal isn't to get any bigger, so I don't think I'll be gaining too much muscle. It'll just look more defined so it looks like I gained muscle, but I didn't. So any tips on staying consistent? I currently struggle with being consistent. Usually I have my coach holding me accountable, or if I have like a fat and weird cookie or something unhealthy, somebody in my group of people that I hang out with will call me out about it, and that's kind of my accountability. I guess the best way to stay consistent is meal prepping really helps because you spent all your money on that food and you took the time to prep it. You better freaking eat it or it was just a waste of your time. MyFitnessPal is a really good app to use to track, and that's also really helpful because it helps you see what you're eating and what it entails and what it's kind of doing to your overall caloric intake. So I think that really helps with accountability and with consistency. Be like kind and gracious towards yourself if you have an off day. Like one off day, as I've stated a million times, doesn't ruin your entire progress. So I guess to be consistent, like give yourself grace to know that if you mess up, it's okay. But also be disciplined enough to know, okay, I had 1 mess up day, now I need 6 days at least of really good consistency. So I think those are like my top 3 things is accountability, meal prep, MyFitnessPal, and being gracious towards yourself. What do you typically snack on between meals during a cut? I guess my snacks really consist of either protein bars, a protein shake, rice cakes with fat and weird cookie butter, fruit. That's about it. I don't really snack too often because my meals are pretty big. So if my meals are big enough, I don't really feel the need to snack as often, but that's normally what I would stick to, is something that's more like carby and protein for a snack instead of like a fatty snack. How do you stick to your deficit without giving into binges? So I've never considered myself much of like a binge eater. I'm a big believer in you can have all foods in moderation to achieve whatever goals you want to achieve. Now, if you're like competing or doing like a physique competition, obviously that rule of thumb does not apply to you because there's just so much more in-depth like knowledge you need on what you consume and why you consume it. But for me, I'm just a healthy lifestyle advocate, and so I guess I never struggle with binge eating because I allow myself to have what I want to have in moderation. I think if you do have a binge eating like problem, or you just like find yourself craving one thing and then you eat a ton of that one thing, I think you need to allow yourself to have whatever that is just a little bit more often than whatever your time frame is. I know some people probably think that's not the best tip, but I mean the reason you're binging is because you've restricted your body so much that when you have it, you go crazy. So you would think like the opposite of restriction is just allowing yourself to have it, right? So maybe instead of restricting for 3 weeks, have a snack every other week or something, and then you won't feel the need to binge when that happens. So that's what I think. So there were a lot of questions that I feel like I have a hard time answering because they are very specific to a person. Like it really depends on what that person is doing, what their work ethic is, what they're used to, like different things like that. So these questions that I'm about to read off are ones that I can't really give you a specific tailored answer because truly the best answer is it depends, but I'll do my best to not just say it depends. This one says, what is a good deficit to cut at? I know 500 calories per day averages 1 pound per week. So I talked to my coach Ben about this because I didn't even know that was a statistic. Apparently it is. But basically, I'm assuming you're asking if I cut 500 calories out every day, I'll lead up to losing 1 pound in a week. My goal right now isn't to really lose weight per se. Like weight will come off as I'm like losing fat, but my goal is really just to like tone up a little bit. But for a question like that, I really do think it just depends on the person. Because even if you cut out 500 calories, okay, let's say like somebody like me who's, I feel like super active and like I'm doing extra cardio and I try to get more steps in, I think I would maybe have a chance of losing more than somebody who cuts out 500 calories but they don't do cardio as much, their workouts aren't as intense, and they are pretty sedentary throughout their day. So I don't think that that's a really accurate statistic just because I feel like every person's lifestyle is so different that it really does depend on that lifestyle to really know if cutting 500 calories out every day for a week will lead to 1 pound loss. So that's my input on that question. How fast are you cutting carbs / calories down? So I'm not really cutting too many carbs out of my diet. I mean, I went down maybe 20 grams of carbs, which really isn't too much. And as I stated before, like I'm just slowly decreasing my calories because I've trained my body to be used to eating more. So I don't really have like a set measurement on how much I'm decreasing it. I do think that if you do such a drastic drop, that's when you lead to cravings, feeling super hungry, getting fatigued faster. I don't think your body would adjust as well as kind of like reversing out of your bulk, like taking it just a little bit slower. So I think I answered that question. I don't know. When do you recommend doing a mini cut? A lot of you guys asked me this actually, and it's not based on like when I recommend you do one, right? Like that is a very depends on the person kind of question. I knew I was ready because I know I've gained weight, I know I've gotten bigger, I'm going to the Arnold and I just want to be lean for the Arnold, so I thought, oh cool, I'm just going to start a mini cut. But if you're like competing, it's not me to say when you're ready because you have a coach for that, or you should have a coach for that. If you are having poor relationships with food, you shouldn't listen to somebody like me to tell you when it's okay to cut. Like I think the only time it's ever okay to put your body through changes in like lifestyle or workout or eating habits is if you are truly like mentally and physically ready to take on those changes. By me doing a mini cut, because I feel like I'm physically ready, mentally I'm just like, let's do it because I find this stuff fun. It's totally different than somebody else who's probably doing a mini cut because they think I need to lose weight, I feel fat. Like it's two totally different mindsets and two totally different goals and aspirations, and I think that those really come into play when you come into making a decision of cutting or bulking or maintenance. So for any body changes you're wanting to do, like I firmly believe that if you are not mentally ready above all things, like you don't do it. So that's my biggest advice and input is just don't base when you're gonna cut, when you're gonna bulk, or when you're gonna maintain off of fit people on Instagram. Base it on like where you're at mentally and what you want to do and what you're passionate about. You know, like you want to start something that you're 100% behind, not start something because somebody that encourages you does it, you know? So I can't really tell you when you know you're ready because only you know when you're ready. How much of a deficit are you usually in during a cut? That is another, it really depends question. To be in a deficit is just to be eating less than what you burn on average. So that could be 200 calories less, 500 calories less, 800 calories less. I don't know. I've never competed to know the extreme amount of deficit you need to be in, but as long as you're eating less than what you're burning, you're in a deficit. So your body should adjust accordingly. I don't think there's a set number or percentage, nor am I really like qualified to answer that question because I've never really looked into it. Just as long as you're eating less than what you're burning, your body should adjust. How long do you do cardio for during your cut? 10 or 15 minutes? I think that's another it depends question. My cardio time is 15 to 25 minutes depending on what form of cardio I'm doing. And that's just because I like doing long cardio. Now let's say if your cardio of choice is a HIIT workout, you can probably burn a high amount of calories if it's a high intense 10-minute workout. That's almost close to me walking on the stairs at a steady pace for like 20 minutes. You know, so it really just depends what your form of cardio you prefer, how intense it is, and the overall calorie burn you have. I don't want to say there's a designated time you have to hit every cardio session to reach the ultimate deficit goal you want. It's really just a matter of what you prefer, how intense you're willing to work, and then based on the person, how many calories you burn in that designated time of cardio. Okay, this is the last it depends question. So how long until you start seeing progress? Do results last after the cut? Again, how long it takes for you to see progress is so dependent on so many variables, right? Like, it's dependent on the food you eat, how much water you drink, if you're PMSing or on your period that day, if you're under high stress, if you haven't slept, if you've eaten bad foods, if you haven't done cardio, if you haven't lifted too hard or had high intensity. Like, there are just so many things that come into play to seeing your results that I'm not going to sit here and tell you in a week of doing this you're going to get the results you want. There's way too many variables that are dependent on it, right? So I guess for me, my body adjusts pretty fast the first like 1 to 2 weeks whenever I go through drastic changes, and then it feels like I plateaued, but I haven't. So I don't want to tell you that 1 to 2 weeks is your goal to start seeing changes, because it's not. Some people, they shed fat like that. Others take like a month to 2 months to lose a decent amount of weight and keep it off. So there really is no like set time frame of when you're going to start seeing results. It's just a matter of how disciplined you're going to be, how hard you're going to work, how clean of eating you're going to have, and your consistency. It's four big things. So to answer how long until you start seeing results, it truly just depends on the person and what you're doing and how hard you're working, your discipline, and everything else. Like, I can't give you a designated answer because it truly varies per person. So sorry, I don't have a magic time frame of when you see results. So. And so the last few questions I received were, what are your goals after the Arnold? What are the goals after your mini cut? Am I going back into bulking or back into maintenance? And it truly, for me, it's just, I think I can achieve a lot in a 4-week mini cut. So depending on how much I feel like content with where I'm at, will decide whether I want to maintain my physique or if I want to go back to getting a little bit bigger. I will be honest, like with summertime coming around and stuff, I probably don't want to be in a bulk, you know, but I guess I'm kind of just like winging the process, right? Like, I want to learn as much as I can by self trial and error and be able to like build more knowledge in this lifestyle that I really love, and to just like to be a better coach and to just like really understand why I'm like committed to this, I guess. Like, I don't think people realize you dedicate so much time to the gym and in your diet and in your routines, but like you're not really taking time to learn what you're doing and why you're doing it. So I really just want to learn like why I love this so much, and I want to know what my body can do, what I'm capable of and what I'm not capable of, and able to take what I learn and apply it to my clients and what they're going through. So it really just depends. I don't know what I'm going to do after the Arnold. I'm just focused on getting to the Arnold because I'm so excited to go. So guys, those are all like the main questions y'all asked me. I tried to pick the ones that were all like broad enough to answer a ton of y'all's questions, so not super specific. But basically the only thing I'm changing between what y'all have been seeing in my bulk series to now is my calorie intake is lower, training regimen's pretty much the same, just my split might be a little bit different, and my cardio is up. So that's about it. I'm hoping I see results pretty quickly. Fingers crossed. If not, it's okay. I'm truly just doing this just for the fun of it because this is what I love doing. Stay tuned because a bulk update, a cut update is coming next. And please comment down below what you want to know, what you want to see. If any of this was helpful to you, whatever you want, comment down below. Shoot me the thumbs up so I know you're tagging along with me on this cutting series. And make sure you subscribe as well, and then that's it. So check out my cut update, and I'll catch y'all next time.